I started with Consensus in April of 2015, and this was before Ethereum had even launched on mainnet. And at the time, you had a compiler, and you had the Web3, a JavaScript library, and that was about it. What I did is I wanted to figure out how to build an application from start to finish, and I just went piece by piece by piece until I was able to figure that out. And what I quickly realized is that although these scripts worked for me and it gave me a repeatable process, I could give these to other people. I could package them up as an NPM package and allow other people to build on top of Ethereum as well. So, in kind of deciding what I was going to call this thing, I looked at what tools I was using. And I was using, first off, these scripts were originally written in CoffeeScript, Coffee, which is an offshoot of JavaScript. And I was using a testing framework called Mocha, and as a plugin to Mocha, I was also using Chai. And so this the set of scripts were here to make my life easier, and I'm like, well, what goes really well with these tools I was using? And that's how Truffle got its name. So, sorry, I should switch here. So, a truffle, along with a nice cup of coffee, makes a great experience. Our main goal, once Truffle got started, our main goal was to make your life easier. You all just bit hopefully, into a delicious piece of chocolate. That's the type of experience we're trying to give you while developing on Ethereum. So when we started Truffle, there was so much to tackle. There's a lot to do in the space. We had 2 tracks that we had to follow. On one track, developers would come on board and have expectations about what should exist in a modern development environment. And then we also had to decide, well, how is this different for Ethereum? So, for instance, workflows around compiling. You had a compiler. Workflows around compiling, deploying, testing, all that was unsolved when Truffle was created. And then things that you expect, like debugging and package management, those weren't even a thought, which, by the way, we're solving now. So, in building Truffle, I took cues from Rails. The word migrations comes from Ruby on Rails, where you think of your database as an evolution and it changes over time. We are building that same thing for smart contracts. But we had to figure out some other things. So, for instance, managing multiple deployments on different networks, or the workflow around managing the artifacts, the output of the compiler, and then somehow connecting that to your application. We even had to figure out how to create faster development cycles. Because if block times are 15 seconds, every button click while developing is going to take that long. And that's how Ganache was born. So, in trying to create faster development cycles, I wrote something which was originally called the Test RPC. Now, that is a terrible name. That was on me. It was originally written in Python. Python was not my strong suit. Leading up to DevCon 1, I was trying to use the test RPC, or that test RPC at the time, to run all my unit tests to present a DApp I was in the middle of creating. And I just couldn't, it was not reliable, I couldn't get it to work, so in a fit of rage, like a lot of 2 a.m., like late nights, I rewrote all of the test RPC in JavaScript, and that's how Ganache came to be. So first, it started off as a test harness, and it worked really well, but we soon realized that it was much more. So not only can it be your test harness, but it can be a server that you set up, and you use that test blockchain within your team. It's a blockchain simulator. It's a programmable blockchain. You can put it into the libraries that you're creating. And it's really the core of the development experience. So I like to call it the sister application of Truffle. So although Truffle makes your life easier, if you're waiting a long time, then your life is still harder as a developer. So Ganache is at its core. The word Ganache it comes from the gooey center of a chocolate. So we bit into the the truffle chocolate that you all got. That inside was Ganache. So the blockchain, even though we were helping build these tools that make your life easier, we could still show you what was going on, and that's how Ganache UI was born. So I can talk a lot more about Ganache, but we're going to have people on stage to do that coming after me. What I'd like to do is move on to Drizzle. Drizzle's our third product. It's our newest entry into the suite. Drizzle is, of course, focused on making your life easier as a developer. It's a library that syncs your application state with the blockchain and vice versa, so you don't have to do that yourself. I like to call it the connector. It reduces a ton of boilerplate. And it's called Drizzle because it's a flourish on top. It helps you create that flourish that you need and create the user experience that you want easily. So again, more product updates to come, but I'd like to talk about our success. We've had over 940,000 downloads of Truffle to date. That's today. Woo! And I guarantee you we'll have 1 million by the end of this month. We've had over 800,000 downloads of Ganache in all flavors. And what's really exciting is 48,000 unique users of Ganache UI alone. And those are people that have to tell us they're using it, that opt into analytics. Thank you, all of you who did that. We've had 385,000 unique visitors to our website, reading our documentation, and 3.5 million page views. We have hundreds of community contributors. Thank you, all of you, who submitted a pull request or an issue, and if you haven't done that, please do so. We like to call these people Trufflers. We've had over 1,000 forks of Truffle, so people working with Truffle on their own GitHub projects. 10,000 GitHub stars across all of our projects. Developers saying that they like what we're doing. And we've had over 4,000 Trufflers in chat ready to help you out. If you haven't gone there, the community is here to help you build your own application. We have quadrupled the amount of community-built Truffle boxes. So you just heard Kale talk about his 8 new ones that came today from Microsoft. Thank you, Microsoft. And the stat I am most excited about is this last one. There are over 26,000 Truffle projects on GitHub right now. So I built Truffle because I needed a tool that's a tool to use, but I'm incredibly humbled by its success and everyone who has participated in building it. So the focus was on originally making my life easier and having something that would help me build my application, a tool itself. But we realized that in building it, we are doing much more. We are the de facto standard for building applications on top of Ethereum. We have built a workflow that thousands of developers use to build an application from A to B. We're a guide. We built tutorials, documentations. We're even starting Truffle University. Thank you. We are the framework, of course, that people use. We're an on-ramp for new users and how they get started. And for most people, we're their first experience in the the Ethereum ecosystem. Most of all, though, we're a community. This is Truffle. Thank you very much for being here. So, of course, we're all here to network, to learn from each other, to become better developers, better users, better people in the space. We're all here to make the development experience a better experience for everyone. It's incredible that you're all here today, again, that you've all come to Portland for this conference. I can't thank you enough. Thank you.